Now you see text messages in this lawsuit from Blake Lively comparing herself to the heroine of Game of Thrones, the fiercest female character we've seen in years, Khaleesi. And that's what Blake Lively says in a text message, that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift.
Is Taylor Swift Hollywood's newest dragon, or just stuck in the flames of a $400 million lawsuit? It's not every day that one of the world's biggest pop musicians gets drawn into a court dispute packed with claims of defamation, invasion of privacy, and power issues. But here we are, with names like Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Taylor Swift involved in what feels more like a Netflix movie than real life. It all began on the set of It Ends With Us, a movie that seemed bound for calamity both on and off screen. Reports suggest Blake Lively clashed with Baldoni over creative control, and in the heart of it all, Taylor Swift, pop princess, chart topper, and now apparently Hollywood's most implausible crisis manager. But did Taylor genuinely conspire behind the scenes to push Baldoni, or is this merely another case of celebrity gossip growing out of control? One thing's for sure, this tale has more twists than a surprise bridge in a Taylor Swift song. So how did Taylor Swift find herself labeled a dragon in one of Hollywood's oddest legal showdowns? And more importantly, how is she handling the heat? Stick around because this narrative is about to get a lot more intriguing.
Well-founded that it's Taylor Swift, her BFF, at the Reynolds penthouse in Manhattan, where Ryan Reynolds allegedly bullied Justin so badly that a Sony representative who was there, the production team behind the movie, and her biggest takeaway was, I am very sorry that I let him get away with doing that to Justin. It was so nasty.
The tumult began bubbling on the set of It Ends With Us, a highly anticipated movie adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. Justin Baldoni, the energetic actor of Jane the Virgin, took on the tasks of both director and producer. Joining him was Blake Lively, a prominent actress noted for her quick wit and natural charm. On paper, their collaboration seemed like a wonderful mix, but behind the scenes, resentment apparently developed. The movie's creative direction became a fight, with Blake Lively seemingly opposing Baldoni's authority. According to court filings, Lively was not merely an actress on the movie, she sought more power, and that's when her so-called dragons entered the picture. In private text messages unearthed throughout the court processes, Lively referred to her close circle, which included Taylor Swift and her husband Ryan Reynolds, as her dragons. Not the fabled treasure-hoarding sort, but rather powerful pals who could breathe metaphorical fire when necessary. Taylor Swift's name, in particular, jumped out. Known for her wonderfully polished image and her ability to translate emotional pain into chart-topping anthems, Swift's presence added an unexpected depth of fascination. How did a pop musician, who's normally busy establishing records and developing fandoms, find herself in the midst of a Hollywood feud? And why did her claimed group chat discussions become part of a $400 million lawsuit? What looked like a normal production problem quickly developed into a high-stakes legal struggle, with Baldoni accusing Lively and her so-called dragons of defamation, civil extortion, and a full-blown smear campaign. As the litigation gained momentum, Taylor Swift's name switched from topping Billboard charts to dominating court files. But this was simply the beginning of what would become one of Hollywood's messiest showdowns.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan.
The stakes couldn't be bigger. Justin Baldoni's action, valued at a startling $400 million, includes civil extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Taylor Swift. According to Baldoni, this wasn't merely a question of creative differences. It was an organized attempt to undermine his authority as director and producer of It Ends With Us. The court files reveal a breathtaking scene. Baldoni accused Lively of using her dragons, Swift and Reynolds, as leverage in a planned effort to wrest creative power away from him. He believes the gang engaged in behind-the-scenes strategies that spanned from passive-aggressive messages to direct threats, all meant to pressure him into adhering to Lively's requests. One of the most explosive allegations comprises a series of covert group chats. In these talks, Taylor Swift is thought to have participated in brainstorming sessions intended at influencing Baldoni's assessments. While the messages haven't been made public, the mere mention of Swift's name has caused a media frenzy. Could one of the world's most prominent music vocalists have been part of a hidden plot to influence a Hollywood production? And then there's the defamation allegation. Baldoni said that Lively's crew actively worked to ruin his reputation, distributing negative information in Hollywood circles. This, he maintains, wasn't merely a power play. It was a deliberate attempt to harm his career. For Taylor Swift, the case offers a particular dilemma. Her carefully constructed image is built on ideals of power and rising above the drama, not sinking headfirst into it. Whether her involvement was planned or incidental, her name being attached to such charges risks damaging her public image in a way no diss track or cryptic lyric could quickly fix. As the legal conflict continues, the public is left wondering, is this a case of Hollywood egos colliding or something substantially more calculated? Either way, the ramifications is proving to be as unpleasant as it is interesting.
And we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also, and some
Ryan
of it will come
Reynolds?
as a surprise. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
Oh, wow.
Taylor Swift's role in this high-stakes affair came as a shock to many. Known more for topping music charts than generating headlines in Hollywood legal issues, her role in Baldoni's case raises suspicions about how deep her commitment truly was. Was she a vital part, or just caught in the crossfire of Blake Lively's ambitions? According to the allegation, Swift wasn't merely a passive witness. Baldoni believes she was part of covert group conversations when strategies were supposedly considered to compel him from giving up creative liberty. These chats, reportedly begun by Lively, contained what Baldoni alleges as a concerted effort to undermine his authority. Imagine receiving a note from Taylor Swift, not proposing a collaboration, but suggesting how to manage a tough director. It's a far cry from the passionate tunes Swift is famed for. Adding fuel to the fire, the notes referred to Swift and Reynolds as Lively's dragons. The title may sound funny, but given the circumstances of the case, it takes on a more menacing tone. Baldoni shows Swift as a behind-the-scenes power figure, using her influence to alter attitudes and dictate narratives. Allegations suggest that her influence extended beyond private chats, with theories hinting that Swift might have leveraged her media links to change public opinion in Lively's favor. But here's when everything gets tricky. While Baldoni builds an image of Swift as an active participant in this campaign, her followers believe that she's being unfairly drawn into a battle that isn't hers. Could it be that Swift was only trying to aid a close mate and ended up being collateral damage? Or is there more to the narrative than meets the eye? For a renowned person like Swift, whose every behavior is watched, even the potential of involvement in such a conflict carries a tremendous threat. Swifties have flocked to her rescue, while others ponder if this marks a new phase in her perfectly regulated career. One where the queen of Easter eggs is suddenly labeled a Hollywood dragon.
So we hurt ourselves, and I didn't realize how much I was suffering. And
Yeah.
so many men I know are suffering, but we can't ask for help. We can't talk about it, because if we talk about it, we're challenging the system that keeps us in the box.
Yeah.
And we're hurting ourselves. We're walking around miserable.
The minute Taylor Swift's identity disclosed in the lawsuit, the entertainment world erupted. Fans and adversaries alike scrambled to make sense of the claims, turning social media platforms into battlegrounds of supposition and dispute. Tabloids were keen to grasp upon the news, pushing up headlines faster than Swift can sell out a stadium tour. Swifties, notorious for their strong loyalty, filled Twitter with memes and hashtags, showing Taylor as an innocent bystander caught in Hollywood's tempest. When one popular post remarked, "Taylor Swift dropped surprise album, Law and Order, Swift's version," another speculated about a diss track targeting Baldoni. On the other side, adversaries questioned her silence, suggesting that her typical control of public narratives was breaking under the weight of these claims. Memes weren't the only things trending. Media outlets investigated every piece, from Baldoni's allegations to the dragon label put upon Swift. Industry experts chipped in, with some siding with Baldoni's portrayal of Swift as a behind-the-scenes influencer, while others dismissed the notion as a specious attempt to bring her into a topic she had nothing to do with. The case also generated discussions regarding celebrity friendships. Is it ethical for someone like Swift to devote her influence to a friend's cause, especially if it leads to claims of manipulation? For many, the notion of Swift as a Hollywood dragon is as enticing as it is confusing, adding another layer of mystery to her public persona. Meanwhile, the laughs and gossip concealed greater issues. Could this episode destroy Swift's reputation, or will her followers unite to ensure she emerges unscathed? History indicates the latter, but the stakes in this judicial conflict feel different, more personal, more unexpected. As the public waited for Swift's next move, the entertainment business couldn't look away. Whether she spoke up or stayed silent, one thing was certain: the drama surrounding her involvement had become a performance in its own right.
So on that Zoom with those guys, we just pivoted and literally made up out of thin air the story of Deadpool and Wolverine, which is actually what we ended up. Sometimes when you're just so full of and you go with it, you end up actually kind of hitting the bullseye.
For someone who's built an empire on carefully constructed narratives, Taylor Swift's reaction to her lawsuit, or lack of one, has been illuminating. Known for facing crises head-on, whether via cryptic songs or public announcements, Swift's uncharacteristic silence has left admirers and opponents alike wondering about her next move. Insiders believe that Swift was stunned by the situation. One source described her attitude as complete shock, likening it to being dragged into a blaze she had no hand in planning. If correct, this demonstrates that her role might have been overstated or possibly misread. But whether unintentional or planned, her name's presence in this narrative is challenging to dispute. Rather than feeding the flames, Swift apparently went to her closest circle for direction. Rumors indicate she debated publishing a public statement to extricate herself from the upheaval, but eventually chose against it. Why give the narrative more air, especially when silence can be more effective? After all, Swift has repeatedly let her actions, or purposeful inactions, speak louder than words. Still, her modest attitude hasn't gone overlooked. Critics have accused her of wanting to dodge obligations, while fans argue that her restraint is a sign of maturity. Why should Taylor address baseless accusations? One Swiftie wondered online. She doesn't owe anyone an explanation. And yet, questions continue. Could her silence be a calculated PR ploy meant to let the story fade out without giving it more momentum? Or is it plausible that Swift, with all her skill in addressing public criticism, is actually puzzled how to face this new challenge? Meanwhile, rumors of impending subpoenas lurk in the background. If legal proceedings advance, Swift's private chats and group talks may be released, creating a whole new degree of scrutiny. For now, however, she is pleased to sit back, sipping an oat milk latte, while the world speculates. But one thing is clear: whether she speaks out or maintains silent, Taylor Swift's position in this case has already impacted the narrative around her. It's no longer simply about the music or the Easter eggs. It's about how she handles a job unlike any she's experienced before.